Hello everybody, so it's been a while since I made one of these videos, and this was like, you see the picture um, that's on the screen now? I was like having a walk in the morning in one of the local towns, Bolton in the north of England, and I was like, I don't know, every so and all kinds of fucking shit goes through my head, but every now and again, Lorne pops into there. And I was just thinking about like a video I could make, and then literally that street was there, um, Lawn Street, and I was just things like that keep happening, little coincidences and things, and like I'll be driving, and one of the tracks will appear on the random thing in my car, and then Armstrong's transport will drive past or something. It freaks me out sometimes. But one of the kind of things, like I've been doing these videos every now and again called Lornography Life Lessons. I'm not trying to be preachy or trying to be clever, although it's difficult to talk about such things without trying to sound a little bit pretentious. Certainly that's not my intention, but most people who watch my videos and stuff got like a similar kind of deeper interest. We can all have a bit of fun with it all, and take the piss out of him and all that kind of stuff. And it is funny, and it's like I've said, there's many elements to this saga. But one of the things that sort of drew my attention is, how did he sink? How does a human being sink to that level? What did he do wrong? And along the way, what can we learn from it? Now, this, it's like it's like everything. I'm not saying this to be mean to him. I'm just saying what I believe to be the truth. But the truth is just a perspective, really. There's no ultimate truth. At least not on the human level. But he makes every mistake that's possible to make, and even like invents new mistakes to make along the way. It's like everywhere that it's like, every now and again I have a bit of a wobble in life, and I think, shit, what have I done? How did I end up in this position, kind of thing? Not that I'm in a terrible position, I suppose, but of course, I do question myself and think, why am I not a millionaire? And that's not to be greedy as such. It's to say that I do not believe that I've fulfilled my potential, and I'm sure a lot of people go through that when they approach middle age. And the sort of thing with Lorne is, the Church of Cod, whoever started it, I don't know the exact ins and outs. It was a little bit of a joke, but of course some people take it far too seriously. It's like, as bad as things get, at least you're not him. Which is not. It can give you perspective on your life. If you have to, use that every day, watch Lorne every day to get through life, you obviously there's some things you have to look at. So with this video, the sort of aspect I wanted to sort of talk about in relation to his plight and what one of the things he did wrong. And this is going to sound a bit silly at first. And this, I don't know, there are some people that follow my channel that also follow actualize.org on YouTube, which I can't recommend enough. And he did a video the other week about, I can't remember how it was titled, but it was something along the lines of asking the right questions in life. And obviously I thought about that with regards to my own situation. And as I often do, for some fucking reason, I apply these things to Lorne's situation. And it spoke about asking high-quality questions about you and about your life and about your intentions and about your actions. So, we all... and what I mean by that is that I do this anyway. It kind of highlighted for me something. I think I do it too often. But when I'm participating in anything in life, I always try and look as deep as possible. Now, when I say maybe I do it too often, it's just that I don't think I've found that balance yet of enjoying myself as much as I could do. And questioning. Sometimes I think you've got to let yourself go. Not to say that I've not had fun. You know, I've been on lots of holidays in the last 2 years. Jesus, I've been, all over the place, and I've had a few, partying and whatnot. But I also think that sometimes you just got to let yourself go and just go with and just have total fun. And I think that's important. And I've sort of not necessarily done that as much as what I could do. And when I say asking questions, a high quality question is, what am I doing? Why am I doing it with regard to anything? So let's look at my situation at the minute making this video, right? Why do I make these videos? That is a question I've asked myself repeatedly for years. I think I've been doing these for 2 years on and off. Well, mainly, generally, I think on average I put probably a video out a week. But it's 30 minutes of my time, probably more, because I have to do a bit of pissing around to get the computer set up and then post it online, and then I'm interacting with people. It's not a complicated process at all. Very minimal technical skills involved. Well, none at all, really. But this is what I've always questioned myself. And, there's always been, like, the not controversy, but the difference in opinion, shall we say, with regard to the trolling of Lorne and stuff like that. And, I made my, opinion, for what it's worth, clear about, I don't know whether he's getting trolled again or whatnot. But anyway, that is it's very easy for me to sort of sit here and question what other people are doing. But the harder thing is to question yourself, no matter what you're doing, and try and look for that grain of truth and be honest with yourself. So I say to myself, why am I making these videos? Is it purely for self-serving reasons? Well, yes, it is. Most people, very rarely will you do an act that is completely selfless. There's not necessarily anything wrong with that. It's a survival game. We're here to survive. There's that need to survive, and you have got to look out for yourself, but that doesn't mean that you can't commit selfless acts. But, for instance, if I did these videos and not one person liked them, I wouldn't do it. Who would? Do you know what I mean? So there is a element of me doing these videos that's like selfish, because I enjoy it. I get something out of the fact that people get something out of it. And that I don't just and this isn't to demean anybody else who does whatever videos. I don't really, there's only a couple that I, listen to, but I like to try and go a little bit deeper with this, just to try and look at the truth of this, not just do videos and say, oh, Luke Lorne's a liar, oh, Luke is a bad person. Well, we already know that. Okay, that's fine. But if that's fine, but but it is entertaining. I get it. Every now and again, I'll go back to some of the old calls and listen to them and have a laugh. But so I sort of question. So what am I doing? Like I said, I get something out of the fact that some people get something out of it, and people have continued to message me from all over the place all the time. And some really, it staggers me sometimes that, people really get something out of it. Like, some people even, so far as say, I mean, I wouldn't say it's fucking life-changing, that'd be ridiculous, but some people, oh yeah, you've really helped me look at things from a different perspective. That's so rewarding to think that and this isn't ego, I don't think. Maybe a little bit, I don't know. But it's so rewarding to know that somebody gets something out of something that I do. It's like when I used to do gigs. I hate that fucking word, gig, but I say, it should be a show or concert. I don't know why there's certain words that I fucking hate, and gig is one of them. I was gigging tonight. Are you going to a gig? Oh, fuck off. Anyway, I was doing a show. I don't like that word either, because that makes it sound like important. Performance? I'm going to say show. Because that sounds too over the top. Act. That's better. I was doing an act with my guitar in local bars every now and again, and I used to get something out of it usually it was pissed up people. They come to me at the end and go, oh, it was really good, that, mate. It was really good. And then it makes it worthwhile. But then again, if you enjoy it, there's nothing wrong with that. We've all got to take fun out of life. You've got to have a bit of fun. And it's the same with this. Every now and again I get these messages and someone says, oh, it's great and this, that and the other, and it's not for everybody. Like I said, some people don't enjoy me prattling on about the spirituality stuff, which I do every now and again. I get it. I'm not trying to be preachy. It's just the path that I'm on. I wouldn't ever say that it's all roads lead to the same point. It's just another way of going about it. It is quite funny though. Like, there was one guy, God bless him, I can't remember, what was his fucking name now? Phil the Bin or something? I can't even, what was it now? It was really like laying into me in the YouTube comments section. I think it was about a year ago, about something I said once, and revolved in like a conversation, and he said, this was all online, and he went, you say you're a spiritual man, but yet you've made a sexist comment. Well, when have I ever said that I'm a spiritual man? He says, you have. You have a spiritual channel. Yes, I do. When have I ever said I'm a spiritual man? Yeah, but you make spiritual videos. Okay, when have I ever said I'm a spiritual man? I've never said that. People make crazy interpretations and project people into positions because, they say, like, this doesn't happen very often, but yeah, there was another person who was arguing with, they made a really nasty comment on my channel once and then deleted it, and they said, what was it, something along the lines, I can't remember what it was, but I ended up messaging them privately because I didn't want to make a show of it and create a load of drama. So I just messaged them privately. I said, I don't understand what your problem is, why are you having a go at me? And then what was that? Doesn't matter what the name was, but it ended up with them throwing an insult at me, which was, why don't you go and meditate then? I'm like, okay, that's actually good advice, but they said it to be insulting. And I was like, scratching my head thinking, what a bizarre... And I was like, at that point, I just stopped. I thought, I'm just fucking wasting my time dealing with that person. If that's their train of thought, then leave them to it. Anyway, I've gone off on one a bit now. But so me going in these videos, I question myself all the time. When I made a video a couple of months ago, when I said I was thinking of just fucking them off altogether, and a lot of people said, oh, please don't, we really get something out of it, and that kind of wanted me to keep making them every now and again. So it is for self-serving reasons, and I asked myself the question of, am I exploiting another human being in doing these? It's only, obviously, it's a ridiculously tiny channel that I've got in a ridiculously tiny subject in a ridiculously tiny corner of YouTube. So I've never took all this YouTube business very seriously. It's been an enjoyable hobby. It's been a great way of making people, and in some ways it's changed a path of the way that my life's gone in some ways. I've met certain people that have had an impact on my life. There's no doubt about that. It's fucking crazy that it's taken this path, and it's all about Lorne. It's nuts. I mean, it's changed some people more than it has me, and I don't think in a positive way, but that's just that that's not for me to say that, but of course I think there's some pretty strong evidence for that. So I've always questioned what I've done, even to this day, even before I made this video. So I'm always asking myself these kind of questions. And like what I said about, being truthful with yourself, it was one of the other ones I made. You can ask yourself these questions and really go deep. And I can say to myself, why am I making these videos? And then my mind will say, because I am helping the country eradicate sex offenders. I wouldn't really believe that. No, you can lie to yourself. The human ability for self-deception is fucking remarkable. It's probably the best thing that we do as a species is self-deception. It really is. It's fucking remarkable. You've no idea. We're all sort of mechanical, these mechanical creatures that move around from one pointless task to the next in automatic mode. And we're at that stage now where we need to evolve beyond these conditioned patterns and become more conscious. And that's what that actualized actualized YouTube channel is all about. The stuff on there, I think it's important. I'm not one of these, like, I was in the city in the city of Manchester yesterday. I don't like Manchester city centre, even though I live in Manchester. It's a fucking shithole. Well, not all of it, but the city centre's fucking horrid. And it's Piccadilly Gardens. I was in there, and there was all these groups preaching and the word of God and all that. And I don't buy into that. I don't like preaching. I'm not saying that the message that they're saying isn't right. I couldn't be arsed listening. I don't want anybody telling me shit. Do you know what I mean? I'll make my own mind up about things. I will put a video on if I want to. Do you know what I mean? It's like he was staring at people like, you come to me and if you don't listen, you're wrong. Well, hang on a minute. If you want to tell people about something, write a book and then they can choose to buy it. You know what I mean? I just don't like it. It was a bit too in your face, and there was loads of them. They're all over the place. And of course, there's so much going on in the world now with terrorism and all this political, there's all sorts going on. I don't know whether you know, but, the Prime Minister, well, it's probably, I would imagine, world news, the Prime Minister in England, she's resigned, and there's all this Brexit bullshit going on, and that goes over my head, all of that. Just my mind doesn't work in a way that I can comprehend all the political ins and outs. It's really like, it affects me, because I live there and I work in a certain area, which it will be affected. So I've got to keep abreast of it, so to speak. So yeah, with regard to, like, for instance, asking high quality questions like that, I think it's important for my life. One could argue that you could probably do it maybe a bit too much, like I said, but it's important to me. It helps to keep you on the straight and narrow, and to live an authentic life. It's a good way of putting it, that, actually. You've got to live an authentic life. It's like, this is where Lorne, I've kind of not really spoke about the subject matter too much. I was kind of going off on one, really, but how does this apply to Lorne asking high quality questions, right? Well, did he ever, at any point during this chat, ask himself a high-quality question? A high-quality question would be not, shall I get Kayla to stick a middle finger up there tonight, or shall I get her to think about me in the shower? Or, so that's a ridiculously low-quality question. As you can imagine, you don't need me to tell you that. A high-quality question would be for him to have an epiphany and go, what am I doing? What am I getting out of this? What am I doing? Yeah? I love this fucking send. I could analyse this one piece here for a fucking week. I love this. This one sentence, if you can call it that. At no point Lorne's in automatic mode, right? He's a very unsophisticated. I don't mean to sound unsophisticated. He's quite an unsophisticated person at this point. Yeah, he doesn't have that ability to self-analyze at this point and to stand back and look at himself and ask a high-quality question, which would be, why am I doing this? For what purpose? What am I trying to get out of it? Now, it's quite obvious. He wanted to get his end away with a kid. But why? Why did he want to get his end away with the kid? Is he attracted to children? Is he that damaged from the past? He's projecting it onto a potential victim. Does he want to inflict pain and suffering on another human being? Why? It's like, I don't want to go into this too much because I don't want to insult. It's not just one person, I believe, that's trolled Lorne through the ages. I'm not having to go at any one person. But if they ever stop to ask themselves a question, why am I doing this? What would be the real answer behind it? What would be the true 100% truth without lying to yourself? Do I make myself feel better by putting another human being down? Do I enjoy humiliating somebody? Do I get a sense of justice from it? Do I, why? Why? You know, what would be the answer? I don't know. But what Lorne, I don't believe, has the ability. He knows what he's doing. He can function in the world. So we're not dealing with somebody that low level. So, you know, if nobody will talk to you, so he's instilling fear into her there, really, if you think about it. Well, what? A few minutes in, if nobody will talk to you, so he's trying to instill fear and loneliness into her. And then comes the compliment. So if nobody will talk to you, he doesn't know that no one will, but it's a way of him instilling fear and control into her already. No, if nobody will talk to you, sweetheart. So then we've got, at the beginning, we've got the fear and the control and the sort of loneliness, which, you know, goes in tandem with the fear. And then the sweetheart, the little nice, like, probably what a dad calls her if she was real. You can talk to me. So it's like, it's not, if you like, would you? It's, you can talk to me. It's like, he's allowing her. So he's throwing the fear at her to try and draw her in. Fear tactics. Then he's throwing the compliment at her. And then he's allowing her. So he's like, he's throwing the carrot, and then he's reeling her in. And then comes, I'm a good guy. Well, okay, why would you need to say that at this point? You know, that it's kind of an unnecessary thing to say, really. You know, you're in an internet chat room. You know, you're an adult. You've just identified that she's a child. I'm a good guy. Why does he need to say that? Why is it on his mind that he has to divulge that to her? There's no reason for him to say that. The reason he says that at that point is because he knows he's not. Because he's a need to persuade. He has a need to persuade her. It's also a bit of, you know, he's trying to draw her in. But these are unsolicited comments. These are coming from him, directly from him. He's not prompted. She hasn't said, are you a nice guy? It's straight away, you can talk to me, ... So he's, you know, he's typing this out. This isn't straight, you know, he's having time, his brain to process it. His, you know, his urges of what he wants to achieve are all manifesting as these words. I'm a good guy, I need to persuade, to draw her in. I have 2 nieces your age. Now, it's all built on lies, manipulation and control. If nobody will talk to you, he has no evidence of that at this point. How does he know no one will talk to her? But he's saying if nobody, but he's trying to install fear to try and draw on her insecurities. If she's in that chat room, she's 13, she's got no one to talk to, she's a bit maybe afraid, lonely, doesn't really know what's going on. She's in a predominant adult world, which is rife. The internet chat rooms are rife with people like Lorne, just looking for people to the predators. They are predators trying to pick out their prey, and that's exactly what he's doing. And so let's look at this, right? There's the fear, the manipulation here of throwing the compliment, and then you can talk to me. He's allowing her. He's giving he's giving her his permission. So already we've got a bit of control. I'm a good guy. They need to persuade. They need to, the self-deception. I have 2 nieces your age. So that, if nobody will talk to you, it's a bit of a lie, control, manipulation. You can talk to me. I'm a good guy. That's a lie, because he's not, and he knows he's not. Maybe not consciously, but subconsciously he knows he's not. I have 2 nieces your age, and that's a lie as well. So we've got fear, manipulation, permission, lies, all contained within one sentence to completely draw this person in. Now, it's not incredibly sophisticated. It would appear so, but only because we're dealing with a decoy. We're dealing with a fictitious character who... So despite how good that would seem, I mean, you know, if you're dealing with the character of Kayla, who is a 13-year-old girl who is, I don't know, would you consider her attractive? She's certainly not ugly, from the pictures we've seen. Let's say an attractive 13-year-old girl who's come from a middle-class family of 2 doctors, lives in a big house, isn't gonna fall for the charms or lack of somebody like Lorne. It's never gonna happen, ever. But what potentially could happen, if you've got a 13-year-old girl who's abused by her parents, doesn't have parents, is, you know, really in a bad situation, been dealt a really bad hand in life, they would fall for that. And that's what he's preying on. That's what he's preying on. And that's what predators do. Predators pick out the weak. You know, you got, the lions. What will the lion do? The lion, well, you know, if you've got, I was watching a documentary with a painted dog. Was it the painted dogs? They're brilliant, amazing creatures. And, you know, the stalking a herd of buffaloes. And they can't get to the calf initially, but what they'll do is they'll stalk the calf, they'll move the herd and the bigger buffalo out of the way, and then they'll attack the weaker one, which is the calf, get the calf and eat it to shreds. And that's what these predators are doing. They're picking on the weak. And it's like, what I don't want to do with these videos, and that's one thing I've always tried to question, is I don't want to like instill too much hatred in people, because if you're looking at somebody like Lorne picking out children to try and manipulate, it's enraging. I understand why people troll the fuck out of him. I get it. But there is another way of looking at this, and it's Lorne knows better, but at the same time doesn't. If he knew 100% what he was doing, he wouldn't do it, and neither would any human being. It's hard to understand, and I'm sorry to get too preachy on this. I don't want to get like too religious, because I know it's not everybody's bag. But one of my favourite quotes is what Jesus said on the cross: "Is forgive them, for they know not what they do." Which modern translation is, they are unconscious. They do not realise what the. Think about a time when you've done something terrible to another. Not terrible, but bad. Everybody's been a cunt to someone at some point in their life. You either have it and you admit it, or you're a liar. Okay? Just think back to the worst thing you've done to another person and how you behaved. And I can think of numerous points where I've said and done things. I'm like, it's like it was another incarnation of me. And I look back and I think, how did you? Why? And I didn't know any better at the time. I didn't know. If I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't do it. The problem is with somebody like Lorne, he doesn't grow. I've got my faults. Massive faults, as you probably guessed. But I think one of my strengths is, this is just an example. I'm not trying to be like egotistical. I have an ability to self-analyse, or self-inquiry is one of my strengths. which is a useful strength to have, but it can also be to my detriment sometimes in various ways, which I don't need to go into. Lorne doesn't have that ability at all. He just doesn't. But you know, I'm not. Does it mean that he's blameless? Of course not. If you cannot see, you've got to take responsibility for your actions, and if you can't see them, the world will punish you in a way until you're able to see the consequences of your acts, and that's how you grow. Why? It's no coincidence that Lorne's still getting people like me making videos about him, because he went above and beyond what a normal person who sheds responsibility does. For him to try and sue the company for NBC for 80 million and continuously blame everybody else, perverted justice are going down and everybody else, it's beyond the realms of normal not taking responsibility. Most people don't want to take responsibility for their actions. But as we are aware, Lorne goes above and beyond any normal kind of person, you know, what they kind of do in that respect. So, hang on a minute. Yeah, sorry. So he never at any stage. I mean, it's like, obviously, people, you know, he said, like, in his lawsuits, there was a point in the chat log where he said no. He knows he never did. Well, I say he knows. The thing is, Lorne's so sort of fickle-minded. He convinces himself very easily of his own bullshit. You know, in his own head, he was trying to be the good guy. If he went back and read that statement there now, he'd believe that. He'd believe that part, that he was being genuine when he wrote it. It's like he's not got the ability to emphasise. It's like supposed to... I was reading up on it, actually. I was reading into like articles about the human ability to empathise. He doesn't have it. And it's potentially like a condition. I think it's like what causes sociopaths. Have they got like a lack of ability to empathise? Have you seen that Killing Eve? She's like a psychopath, isn't she? Where it's like she just picks off people with no consequence. You know. And sort of going back to the subject matter of this video, high quality questions at any point. As Lorne, he never does. Like, think about his YouTube endeavours. Why did he want to do that YouTube thing? He was kind of coerced into it a little bit, but it doesn't take much to coerce him. He's responsible for his own actions. What was the reason he was doing it? And he said, oh yeah, I'm just trying to entertain people and blah blah blah. He wanted something out of it. It was a selfish act. Wanted money, he wanted attention. He was just, you know, oh everybody. He's just he didn't ask himself. He was never going to say why he was doing it. It's like I've like my two of the things that I used to spend most time on a few years ago, not that long ago, like a few years ago, the most of my free time was spent up with two things: drinking and TV. I don't watch TV anymore, and I don't drink anymore apart from when I go on holiday. Well, no, tell a lie. I've not had a drink in... I came back from Cyprus nearly 3 weeks ago. I've not had a drink since, but I'm going to have one tonight. A couple. But predominantly I don't drink. I don't watch TV. Very rarely watch TV anymore. So, at a point in the last, recently, within the last, year or so, I was like, why spend all my time watching TV? I'm not saying it's like a complete waste of time, but I thought there's more productive things I could be doing. I could be reading and learning a new skill, learning a new tune on the guitar, going for a nice walk, enjoying nature, things like that. So I'm asking myself these questions: why do I want to watch TV? Am I being lazy? Because it's like you've got to ask yourself high quality questions. Why am I miserable? Why am I unhappy? And the general consensus in some people way is because such a body fucked me off. Is because the government have fucked me over. Is because me mum did this to me when I was young. Blah, 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 fucking blah. Well, no. In most cases, and I say most, you've got a responsibility for your own life. Why am I in a crap job? Or why am I this, that, and the other? What can I do about it? And in more cases than not, people will lie to themselves and say, and come up with bullshit excuses, and rather than taking a grip of things. You know what I mean? Of course, Lorne never asked himself any of these questions, and if he did, he just immediately lied to himself. So his whole existence is an illusion. A complete illusion. I mean, let's just go to... I don't know. I wish I could see you right now. What are you doing, precious? Talking to you. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of sad tonight because I didn't get to go shopping and be with Dad. Oh, it makes me sick when she says that. It's like, oh. Oh. Do you know, there's nothing like that unconditional love that you feel for a child. As parents who's listening to this, you'll know that. There's just nothing like it. And for somebody like him to come in and... Oh, now this is interesting. This is very... Is this the point? I always knew there was one point in the chat log. I don't think it's a coincidence that I've stumbled across this. Cause I didn't get to go shopping and be with Daddy today, and now they are fighting. Ah, I'm so sorry, precious Rose. Now, there was one point in the chat log where he sort of did question it, and it was when he came out with this: are you positive that you want to come down with me? Now, did he ask himself, am I doing the right thing? Is it purely for a selfish reason? Is it that... Because what we've got here is her... The reason I mentioned the thing about the daddy and how I don't like it is because you see, it's just, she's a child. She's a child with a dad, shopping with daddy, and she's calling him daddy as well, which is an immature way of saying it. You know, I'm not saying that all... And now they are fighting. So you've got a girl who wants to spend time with her dad, and she's unhappy because they're fighting. And that spells out a young, vulnerable person that doesn't need a 37-year-old perverted predator stalking her and trying to have sex with her. And he comes back with, are you positive that you want to come down here with me? Now, I'd like to think that was the... Because there is goodness in him. There's goodness in every single human being on the planet. Every living creature. We're all made of the same stuff. We've all got whatever you want to call it inside of us. You know, consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it. It's all there. We're all part of the same creature, organism, being, whatever you want to say. So there is goodness in him. But it's that clouded with anger and frustration and lies and victim mentality and mental conditioning and sexual frustration and, you know, guilt and feelings of worthlessness, that it's completely covered up. Someone said, I don't know who it was in one of the recent book that the determination of this is a complete misquote because I can't remember how it was worded, but it basically said that how bad a person is determined by the lack of connection with the source or God. So in other words, how detached you are from your true self determines how much of a bad person you are, which isn't an entirely... So in other words, Lorne's good part is that covered up that he's just acting on grossly perverted animal instincts. And there are worse than him. So there are little occasions where maybe the goodness comes out. Is this one part? Are you positive that you want to come down with me? Is this where he's asked himself a high quality question? And it would come after this part. Because that, who's going to look at that? And there are people that will look at that and go, oh my God, I've got a vulnerable girl there. Her dad's fucking her around. The parents are fighting. Right, it's time for me to move in for the kill. And most normal human beings would look at that, feel sympathy, and want to try and help them. Are you positive you want to come down here with me? No, I'll leave that open. I just wanted to... Yes, in capital letters, she's wrote it. So the decoy will be thinking, shit, am I going to lose him? Okay, lol. Why? Just wanted to make sure. No, regardless of... Let's just say that is him asking himself a question. He should have enough about him to know that she's not in a position to make an informed decision. In other words, she's a child. And, it doesn't matter if she's put yes in capital letters. She's not in a position to be meeting with a 37-year-old bloke and doing whatever. And he knows that. He knows he's not good for her. But, at that, I just wanted to make sure at that point he should walk away. If that was a true high-quality question, walk away. But was that the goodness in Lorne trying to come out? I don't know. 'Cause there have been times in the past where I've got it wrong with Lorne and I've tried to see good that isn't there, but maybe this is part of it. Maybe this is it. And it's like I said, I selected this and this came up. It's so apt. So, what do you think? I'm going to leave it there, guys, because I've rambled on a bit longer than I usually do. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think. I hope I've not been a bit too preachy. I always try and, be, interesting and whatnot. I'm just looked at my watch, which isn't actually on. So I've just looked at my empty wrist. But anyway, we'll have to leave it there, guys. So let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you soon.